know you have a starting point. We're all at a starting point, and you know you have an ending point where you want to go, and you got to know where that is. And sometimes you get to take the shortcuts. Sometimes you got to get bumped back. You have a setback, but at the end of the goal is you got to get to where you want to go. And if you don't know where that is, to your point, it makes it hard to play a game. And so I think there's what you guys are doing and helping kids form that, and it's going to change, right? I mean, play college football, right? This wasn't the ideal, like it was, right? But you want to make impact. Your life's purpose was to do something big, and how we fulfill that, how we do those things, it's going to change, right? And I think it's okay to have a goal that changes, but I think what's most important is that you have a goal that you're trying to get to, and it's gonna zigzag a little bit and might go backwards, but as long as you have that goal, you're gonna get that. Welcome, world. Welcome, family, to another episode of EL2A Podcast. I'm your host, Justin Garner. To writing, you got a stability. I told you they wrote a book, a smile. I said, we're acting with the stability, a smile. Calling go, I done the rapper pretty big, but to writing up, we got the rock, the highest 7 wheels, it's 80 rock, right? And they brother, do it, maps. Trey, I love this. And we now the special guest in the house, like always, Miss Justin Garner. How you doing, I think I'll grab him. We appreciate you being here. I was about to go into your title, but your title is so wrong. But tell me your title again, what your title was available with Senior Director of Hospitality Operations and Marketing. So, what he's was just in a World Equestrian Center. I always like to tell a story of how that's where he built our but we called him Shane, and floods out. We all did that. We went on the tour. We went on the tour. She connected us, and then I guess then you follows, and then just simply talking through it. So that's cool. So that's all. And then saying that was each. I don't even know that. I didn't do that. I don't even know how the netball. I'm not. I just know that seeing I was in Vegas. She remember you from Vegas. Yeah, us to seeing two familiar faces. Yeah, our thing we're into note. And she started with us at World Equestrian Center. Before we opened the Equestrian Hotel, when she came in, we hired her, loved her smile, her attitude, and so she's been on the phones. You call the Equestrian Center, she's the first person to be talked to. There's almost every day, and she's the great first impression. So Shane is awesome, a blessing for us. It's funny how wife had this man. I don't even think he may have did that. We may have called over here, and she may have had to say that's how I think we started when you're crested on tour. Yeah, and I guess people like. You been do tours, and then you got old person house and out. And this is like summer of 21, 20 years. It's heard of it. And we went on the tour, and she did. Yeah, she was off that day. Was that when she started putting the names in the outlook and damn it. And then she got me, and you guys were having lunch at Violet's, right? Oh, yeah, the crayon. Said you're standing there, and I mean that's okay. That was enough. That was it. That was it because you came in with a couple other. Yeah, I mean, and we met at athlete. Wow. But look at this. From a moment like that, you start with a person that's just committed to just being a good person. And she opens the door for us, and then it was a great experience like it just did us, right? I mean, you did here. So, wonderful story. But to get into it, man, Justin, I would love to. So today I just want to learn more about you. I learn more about what Equestrian Center has going on. So I'm going to tie this in. The first question when I asked, how did you get it? How did you get so trying for Justin? And at the beginning, I'm like, we're going to burst. I'm like, oh, if I just I thought that's it from the beginning of the time. From when you say you grew up in a whole bunch. So tell us the story. Can I how to give me a journey? Can you tell me? I actually question. Say you grew up a lot of places. What does that mean? So today, it explains how I got where I am, kind of what I do. Like I started. My mom was a single mom, working a couple different jobs, and so we moved around quite a bit. So. She worked at university, ended up putting herself through school and got a master's degree and ended up getting a PhD from Chapel Hill. But so we moved around. We were in Nashville, Wichita, Kansas City, Durham, North Carolina, ended up in Arizona. That's where I went to middle school, high school. So that's usually, and college. So that's usually where I say I'm from. It's the easy answer and people on the sweet real quick. But so went from Arizona State, had a degree in political science and economics. All through high school and college, worked in resorts. Started out as a busboy, and then ended up as a server waiting tables. And then when I was in college, to put my way through school, pay for school, I worked in a bank, and I worked night shift at a hotel as a night auditor. So I started getting into hospitality business kind of that way. And then when I got out of school, moved to DC. Thought I wanted to be West Wing was on TV all the time. Like everybody wanted to go into politics, and I got a job working in a senator's office and hated it. Did that for like 18 months and got my car totally a bunch of times. And I just, was waiting tables on the side and trying to afford to live there. I was like, this is great. And so I was in Greenville, South Carolina, visiting my dad, my stepmom, and, met a guy at breakfast, like our CP, right? CP breakfast. And started talking to him, and I said, listen, man, I think I can get in the hotel. I was looking for an entry-level manager job. Can I go see you? We was a GM on the hotels in town. And then he's like, yeah, I got 30 minutes. Said, I'll buy you coffee. And so he made time for me, which has always been important to me in my career, to make time for people who are interested in careers and jobs and connections. Because like we just talked about, you never know when it's going to come back, right? You never know who you're going to meet in life. And so I got talking to this guy, and he was a GM at a hotel and knew a bunch of people within his management company. And I said, listen, you were in the country, I don't care. And for the entry level, and they said, well, let me get back to you. And he had a guy that was looking for a front desk manager at the Westin Atlanta Airport, just right next to the Atlanta Airport, as the name would suggest, in south side of Atlanta, and called me out and got me an interview. And I went down there, got the job, and moved to Atlanta. And then just kind of stayed focused on what my next thing was, right? So I was like, I was working in an airport hotel, and moved across town to the W Hotel. Was young, I thought, work for something, a cool brand. Learned a little bit there, and then ended up continuing to grow my career. And when it wound up back at the same hotel I met Jeff at in Greenville, South Carolina, as the director of Breams, overseeing housekeeping and front desk and front office and guest services, and did that for 4 or 5 years, and then moved into the restaurant business and worked for a restaurant group there in South Carolina. And then wanted to get back into hotels. I ended up going to Hawaii. So I got a gig out in Hawaii at a big resort as a director of restaurants, overseeing 14 restaurants and bars on a 60-acre resort in Hawaii. So did that for a couple of years, last little long vacation. And then did to come back to the mainland, and wound up in Austin, Texas as a director of food and beverage with Hilton. And then he wound up in, kind of kept moving my career, and then ended up in Orlando. And that's how I was food and beverage, the Hilton High Drive in Orlando, and got COVID like everybody else, and shut down kind of the hospitality industry for a good 8 months. And during that layoff, spent a lot of time with my kids playing basketball in the driveway, and doing homeschool. Everything was on virtual. That was 8 months. And so during that time, World Equestrian Center started posting positions for their hospitality staff. So I was actually got hired, less than get hired on, to oversee the hospitality operations, because I had the background in restaurants and hotels and kind of did all this different stuff. And got up here, and I was employee number 4. In fact, the last orientation class last week was like employee 835. So the last 4 years and growing like crazy. And so it's been exciting. We got really lucky actually to open during COVID, because we were able to grab a lot of great talent, the chefs, the guys you guys met, our hotel team just know me working. So, now when I call people to try to recruit, come out here, they're like, oh, you should do it. They've heard about it a lot more now than they did 4 years ago. But, so it's been really cool the way it all happened, and just the way we were put in the spot we were. And it's been an amazing transition for my family. And everybody loves Ocala. It felt like home right away. So yeah, I got to ask, man. So when I heard in your whole innings, what you just said. So in the beginning, you bounced on to the last step, and then you got to the adult and you start bouncing around. I'm doing it like, so did your childhood, do you think it played factored into your openness when you got as an adult, your willingness to, because a lot of people, if they're from the South, it's like, I'm not leaving the South. Yeah, I leave it my reach. But do you think your childhood playing into the fact of you being open to just going, yeah, absolutely. I think it creates that you're not afraid. Right. I think what keeps people from moving sometimes is just fear. And so you learn that independence, and you learn, but more importantly for my career was it taught me to deal with different people. Right. I mean, you talk about Nashville, Tennessee, you talk about Kansas, and talk about Durham, North Carolina, Arizona. all different people, all different cultures, all different norms of what people consider normal. And, be it in Atlanta and Greenville, it's continued. So I find it easy to relate to people of different backgrounds, different, experiences. I can find some commonality with people, which is almost always the best thing, right? And so you find common ground. Learned a lot of Spanish on the way, So, it's been great for me. That made it so it wasn't scary. My wife grew up in Richmond, Virginia, born and raised in one place, went to college, then moved to Atlanta, and that's where we met. But, so that moving around thing was kind of nervous for her, but now she's come settled into it and been supported. But I do think that moving around early on and just learning to make friends quickly, right? I mean, if you moved in school age, right, in elementary school or high school, it's brutal, right? It can get really tough. And so, that age, you just kind of learn how to relate to people and make friends and fit in and figure out personalities. And in my business and hospitality, that's all it is. It's, you meet people right away. Somebody's really upset and banging their penis on a table or a front desk, and you got to be able to kind of relate and calm down and be on the same side and really kind of work with people and meet them where they're at, right? And help them through whatever they're going through. So I think that's definitely helped me as I've grown up and why I think I gravitated towards hospitality. Did you know what you wanted as that? So, because some people, they had on a get like, okay, this is what I'm trying to get out of my career. This is the end goal. So I'm doing this, or what's just like, I'm just on the hottest train smoking, and I'm not trying to get into work. Because even when I do, we always tell our boys, you need to know where you're going. Yeah. So I'm wondering for yourself, you have an idea of like, this is where I'm going. I originally wanted to be a doctor, to be honest. I went I went down to Honduras when I was in high school on a medical mission with Operation Smile, and really got to see a different part of the world and people in really different circumstances of life, and learned how most of the world lives and how lucky we are to be where we are. But, and then got into the politics thing but then found hospitality so I don't think it always kind of changed, right? But once I started my career, I was an okay student. I was a C student. I was never going to be a doctor. So I didn't have it. But I was good at other stuff. And when the work ethic really kicked in, once I found something I was excited about, and I was passionate about, right? Like, you guys can dedicate hours and hours and do to this, right? Because you love it. And it's the same thing in my career now. I love building. I love what we've done from a culture standpoint, team engagement, and building that reputation from hospitality. So, for me, it kind of found me along the way. But as I was progressing in my career, when I meet, especially with young professionals and our new hires and managers training at sort of in their career right out of school, is, you got to look at your body of work and understand where you want to be, right? So at the end of the day, I knew I wanted to be a GM. I wanted to be a general manager over property. And so then I kind of broke that down and said, what do I need? What are the building blocks to get there, right? What skills do I need? What soft skills, which hard skills, learning, schooling, that I needed to kind of build that career. And so when I saw opportunities, I kind of knew kind of what I wanted to do the next. And so every 2 or 3 years, I kind of moved up and to try to figure out the different pieces. So for me, I started on the room side, which to run the hotels, get to know housekeeping, how to get clean, how do you sell rooms, how do you check in bladder house. And then for me, it was the kind of the food and beverage side, so I could build the different pillars, right? Because there's so much careers in a hotel. Like, people don't always understand what makes up a hotel or hospitality business. And if you break it down, you've got, obviously the operations folks, you've got mechanics and engineers who are fixing air conditionings and plumbings, and you've got a sales team that's out selling and doing events. And you've got housekeeping, obviously, and laundry departments and HR departments. So, kind of every business you think of within a small hotel. Like, everybody, sometimes a smaller hotel, you got to wear a lot of hats. Sometimes at the wet, you have to wear a lot of hats. But, for us, it was always, and you see different things and build different pieces. So you kind of got to put yourself in that position career-wise to say, where am I investing in myself, right? To kind of get better and get this experience. So when someone looks at my resume, right? So I'm reduced to a piece of paper. Like, first hiring is, how does that look the best? And how am I going to check in many boxes in this box? So for me, it was, I had done an airport hotel, which totally different than a resort, right? So I went, okay, well, how do I get to a lifestyle hotel and then a city hotel? And then I had done resorts and I hadn't done a unit environment. And so for me, that was a box elevated check. So that was the Hawaii move. And it was an opportunity. And so I kind of looked at different opportunities from there to say, what's going to suit me best? What am I going to be interested in? And then you put about family along the way, and some of those things start playing. So again, that's why I say the World Equestrian Center came along at like the right time in my life to really, for a higher power, for God to say, this is where you're supposed to be. And so that was big for us in Cotonou. Yeah, it was strategic. So I was saying, you need girls up and ladies. A lot of our conversation always goes back to what we did. Literally, looks at young men all the time, or every day we're telling them, you need to, wow, and say there's two questions you have to answer. Who am I and where I'm going? There's a lot of factors that play into young men understanding questions. And one thing you say earlier, you say you grew up with a single parent. So that's a big thing. So a lot of identity becomes fun, not father, especially as a male. And we deal with that a lot. Y'all don't have with you. This had Amy Lewis here of a State Farm that weeks ago. And she surprised me because she came in and said she didn't meet her call until she was like 20. So again, you give me things and, you see it firstly where they, you just judge them for what you see and not knowing that this is later, this, that they're dealing with. So I kind of, it makes you think, because I did hear you say at one point in time, you was starting time when went with your father and stepmom, so that you obviously had, and I actually said it in my 20s. Okay, I'm actually going to go see him next week. So I always maintained, but it was never kind of a presence in my life. Even my mom had to, like a lot of single moms, wear a lot of hats and try to be at the ball games, the hockey games, and at the same time work a couple of jobs to pay for two teenage boys who, as a father of a teenager and an almost teenager, man, those kids eat. So especially doing sports. So I think back and really reflect on everything my mom went through to get us where we were and give us what we had. So I think it creates some drive, and it certainly, you grow up, you model the behaviors you're around a lot of times, and good and bad. But for her, she was always a worker. She was always trying to focused on that. So for us, I think I really took that in as I grew, and certainly as I got into being an adult and working adult, and wanted to achieve and want to accomplish, and try to cruise. Yeah, I bet you miss a piece of so far. And I had you that. Do you think, like, as you grew up, there was things that you had to deal with, or problems that you had to overcome for just not having that figure there in life, or did you have someone else there to feel that? Yeah, and I think there's always things. I think now that I'm a dad, I probably reflect on it more than I did as a kid. And I think, as a young man and as a teenager, you kind of just you're focused on you sometimes, right? And so you don't necessarily recognize what you missed at the time. Whereas now I look back at the father and go, I wish when I was a 14-year-old kid playing sports, I had my dad to tell me this, tell me that, give me that pointer. But also at the same time, I've got a 14-year-old boy who doesn't want your kid, right? So some of that too is like, hey, I don't, as a parent, I don't have that model to look back on. Right. Certainly as a husband, that's been a challenge for me, is not having that figure model. And so trying to figure that out in my life, and as an adult, you're still learning and still trying to figure that dynamic out, because I didn't have that role model at the time. So I think those are the things that challenge me more, I think, as an adult than really as a kid. I think kids are exceptionally resilient, and make the most of they don't have a comparison. They don't always have, they don't know what they don't have sometimes. And so I think that's, I think the internet certainly has changed that, and social media has changed that completely. And our generation of kids you guys are working with right now are it's tough, man. It's tough to be a kid right now and face what they're facing and the influences that they have. It's very different. I'll just say, how did it push you when you became an adult to learn those aspects, or to learn those gaps in that knowledge that may have been there because of the lack of a father figure and their own? I think, for me, I don't think it was really intentional. Right? You run into moments and conflicts and things where, your reaction is what your reaction is. And then you're like, yeah, that's not the way I should do that. And, and it takes some figuring out, and it takes people in your life that are telling you, hey, that's not normal. that's not how you're supposed to react. That's not what makes, when you're with a partner or a spouse and they're like, hey, that's not what, that's not fulfilling to me. And you have to have that ability to kind of look in the mirror and go, man, that's me. That's not them. That's me. And that's, I think, something, whether you grew up with a father or not, I think everybody's got to learn that and face that at some point as part of growing up. And certainly part of being a man, right, is being a male figure, is recognizing when you're wrong and saying you're wrong. And so I think a lot of that just is, it's one of those things where you wind up in situations in life where you got to make decisions, and sometimes bad decisions that you learn from. Hopefully they're not, too detrimental to you along. You played any sport growing up? I did. I played a lot of sports growing up. That's all, we got busy, right? Summer and summer camps, that was daycare. But even like, so I played a lot of baseball, a little bit of soccer. As hockey was my main sport. Ended up playing a little bit.
It was having tenure for this.
For hockey, my first couple years in school, and it's
because
my little son got to go. Every son got to do it, got out of there quicker. But my
old staying just crawled out. They see FaceTime going back. Just
got to mute. I can book Orlando for practice 3 nights a week. It was the brutal stuff on him. And now, he still at middle school. He hang with his friends and play sports with his friends. And so he's moved on to basketball or just flag football and all the stuff that keeps him here. But yeah, love playing sports growing up. Yeah, so we how to all industry sports. That's not all the time, but there's a lot of takeaways from sports. I'm sure when you get to the business where I want to know, so far as you, what are the biggest things that you think sports helps you with, like now as you're big easy team, a team. Everybody has a role. Everybody plays a part, right? Like it's business, especially one as big as ours, and it doesn't really matter what your job is. My place can't function without you. And I think that's one of the big recognitions I've had as I've grown in the business is, it doesn't matter if you're the dishwasher or the head chef or a housekeeper or the front desk manager, right? Like everybody's got to play a role. And it's the same thing in sports, right? If your left guard doesn't block, your quarterback's going down, right? So, you got to make sure that everybody who has a role is understands their role. So communication, understanding everybody needs to feel they know what their role is, so they got to be knowledgeable about it. Everybody's got to feel a sense of purpose and pride in their role. So making sure to respect everybody on the team. Doesn't matter if you're a backup or you're a starter. Everybody's got to feel important in order for the team to achieve what they got to achieve, right? So you got to break for the next rep if somebody goes down. So that's number one, hands down, is the business and is a team environment. I rely on so many people every day to do what we got to do. Leadership's important, and setting the tone. And same thing in a locker room, right? You got to have those leaders, whether it's a coach or whether it's a senior player on the team, that's setting the tone and staying positive. And we've got some great stories about the Boston Celtics and just their locker room environment, the championship run and the leadership they had with Tatum and Brown. Like, these guys are leaders. And so you need those people. But you need it all about, because not everybody's going to be vocal and not everybody's going to be an in-your-face leader or a leader in certain ways. So really, it's teamwork. Business is teamwork. It's working with other people. It's respecting everybody on the team. Like, again, you're right. The teams that don't win championships are the teams that have a star player and that doesn't get along with their team, doesn't build routine, doesn't build up the rest of the team. The teams that wins, again, big hockey guy, we looked at Florida Panthers last night, winning the Stanley Cup. And it was a team. It was a team game that on one player that really stood out. Their goalie's pretty good, but every line had to contribute. Whether it was that top line with the guys making $8 million a year, whether it was that fourth line, the guys making league minimum. And to win that means it just takes a team. So I think for me, it's the message for sports, for me in business. It's always, it's team game. It's a team game. Nothing happens by yourself. Even if you're an entrepreneur, you're still relying on somebody to help achieve your dream. So it's got to be team game. Everybody's got a role, and you got to respect and build up everybody. You can't just be, hey, I'm a superstar and you're a dishwasher, because I can't. You can't put out as usual plate food if it's on a dirty plate to carry. And every good chef will know that and recognize that. So I love it. And I think that's a good segue into get into the world of the WE. So you being there, being pulling them forward to where you guys are, and I think there's a lot to learn from just what you guys have done over there. So I really want to be deep into that. I'm going to start. So I was thinking this. So I want you to get into it, but I want you to see from just about it into how do you see? Think of the questions. What do you see? I'm going to ask, and I will follow up and get Justin and beat them talk about their mission and their vision. But I kind of want to hear, how do you see when you think of what's going on over there? What do you see? So this is not in a lot. You would think, well, we used to ride because we we dropped from 27 to 40 in the church. And I always in basketball, it's like, then we said, that's the first trick. Go ahead, Bob. And through the years of us going from the trip, so talking to Miss Wanda understanding was that I then went there for the wine festival. And just finally, like going there and actually experiencing it, you just see it from a whole. You're finding information out about the facility. So it gets to the point of like, okay, this place does this is getting to everyone. There are a lot of great things that's there. Is I think for me, it's the more information we get out to the community, the more people that would be involved. So for me, it's just one of those things where, like I said earlier, it's a family, a fun, family-friendly environment to where everybody can go to. Where you just got to know. You got to be in the know that to know what's going on. So I mean, assemblies, I think, please. Yeah. I mean, for us, it's obviously it started as a competition facility, right? So they wanted to host where it hosts. And there's a family behind it. It's a family business. And, they wanted a place that was better quality than when they were out riding. And so they just had a vision for a place that was bigger than life, really, for us. But and then it kind of grew organically. They said, hey, listen, where are people going to eat? Got the restaurant. Where do we stay? And, it's out. Our motto really is quality, class, distinction, right? Those are our three pillars that we try to look at everything through that lens and say, hey, is this the best quality we can put out? Is this the best, highest class we can put out? And what are we doing this thing did, right? Versus our competitors. So whether that's a restaurant, whether that's another virtual facility. So that's kind of how we look at the lens. But I think as it grew, the leadership specifically in the family, really understood what the bigger economic impacts it wanted was going to be on Barry County, right? So, obviously there's another number of growth indicators and things that have happened here, whether it's the distribution that's opened up, signature brands getting bigger, like E1 getting bigger. I mean, there's just so many great companies that are here now that are engaged in the community and really try to do great things and hire as many people as possible. That's the big fight right now, is finding great people. But again, the family, specifically Robbie Roberts, really wanted to make sure that the facility is broadening equestrian sports to a bigger audience. I mean, you look at it's kind of like soccer, right? How football, whatever you call it. You go to Europe, seeing the horse show world. You go to Aachen, Germany, to go to a horse show, and there's 20,000 people. And it's a full weekend. Its stands are packed. Whereas in the U.S., it's never a spectator sport. Maybe every 4 years when the Olympics comes along, people go, "Hey, that's cool." Or you participated, and the people that are participated are passionate. I mean, they are, the horse sports. I don't care if it's Western all the way to English stuff, the saddle. Everybody's so passionate about it, and the bond with horses obviously goes back, to the private, right? So, the bond with humans and horses has been, pretty intangible throughout history. But, I think that piece, exposing that sport and the great sport that it is, and the excitement that happened with that sport, it certainly was nothing I was familiar with coming in. I didn't know anything about horses, and so I had to learn it. But I think for us, it was, there's a bigger impact here, and certainly people could come out. There's no admission, throughout the years. So you come out and have lunch and do some shopping and just watch the competitors go and try to figure it out, or meet people. Like, the other thing we love about Ocala is like people are so friendly here, just in general, and hospitality is kind of everywhere you look in Ocala. And So certainly we want to represent that at WEC and people coming from out of town. And our biggest skier audiences right now are the villages, and Orlando and Tampa. And then Gainesville is starting to pick up from a numbers standpoint. But, the number of villagers that come up and just hang out for the day and then walk around and enjoy it. And it's hot right now, but we have the indoor arenas, so you can get out inside and watch. But again, that's the reason there's no fee to get in to the facilities. Come explore it and see it. Maybe you'll follow it. Maybe you get excited about it. Maybe you come out on a Saturday night and watch one of our Grand Prix. It's a great entertainment. We're out of the lights. There's really good excitement. We're kind of like the way to get into horse sports, especially the equestrian, is show jumping, because it's the easiest to understand, right? Go fast, don't knock stuff over. It's pretty simple. Some of the other sports are a little bit more intricate, a little more you got to be really into it to understand some of it, of why somebody in dressage is outperforming or scoring better than someone else. But certainly the show jumping is exciting, especially Saturday nights where we've got them jumping 1.55 meters. I mean, they're jumping high, and as people crash and all, you know, like in NASCAR, we're coming to see the wrecks, but it's really exciting to watch these athletes and then folks equine it, even compete together. I mean, it's the only Olympic sport where men and women compete head to head. So you see some great people that really are passionate about it, and it's fun to watch. And I think I was never a horse person, but I really come to appreciate it and what goes into it and getting a horse there. And so I think for us, it's the facility's there for people to come explore, and not everybody's going to love every sport, but we certainly welcome everybody. And the chapel is there, and it's just a beautiful. We see a lot of people that don't even care about the horses; they just come out. But the grounds are beautiful. And when the weather is nice, it's a nice, safe place to walk. Because on some of them, let me wear a scooter and stay away from the horse. And so it's again, we want people to come out and feel like it's part of Marytown, like it's theirs. We want people to come out, feel comfortable there, feel welcome there. And if they're not, don't call them this. They make a lot. I'll give them the tour. So, and then what I was going to say to the applicant, going from when it first was introduced to where we are now, and just it's one of those things where I don't know too much about push up down. Brother Miles is because we were there and doing something jazz on it. But just to see the aspect of people that we've seen the kids, because when we're upstairs, cat go in the report, cat, there were kids in the rain and jumping. So that's something that I never even asked my daughter, like, is that something you want to do? But it gets to, and that's been what we do with kids. Yeah, they expand their mind. So even as an adult watching it, at this point, it's like, okay, I'm pretty sure my daughter, if she wanted to get into it to learn more about it, it's something that she'll learn about it, and you'll want to probably do. So it helped me as an adult expand my knowledge down, and not aiming the horses up and in the shows, but the facility and something is board. It's more to it than what we actually know. And I think, and that's what I was trying to get to. We can get others to understand that there's information, or there are certain things that happen at World Equestrian Center that they didn't learn, and that road with the facility. I feel like that we were great. Yeah, certainly. And the website WEC.net and choose Ocala, and I'll have that we have full calendar that you can filter. So even if you don't care about the horse route events, you can look up live music. You can look up all the different stuff we have on there. One for why Festival. There's in the Wine Festival. Winter Wonderland is the other one during Christmas, and that season for us, it's a lot of fun, and the family just goes all out with Santa there every night and lights. I mean, we had the 2 million lights last year strung up, and but we have workshops going on at the same time, which the people are competing love, because there's no venue in the world that's like that with the 40-foot Christmas tree in the middle of the rings. But it's just it's a great season, and again for us, we want to make sure the environment is family friendly. We want people to feel comfortable there, enjoy, relax, and let it be a place. I tell people all the time, right? We have a toy store. You guys saw the toy store and the hotel, and people walk in and go, I haven't seen a toy store in years. And that's why they built it. It's like everybody gets toys in an Amazon box. So like nobody gets to like walk in and touch and feel a toy anymore. Because Toys R Us clothes, and So, that was part of that nostalgia piece of, bringing something back that's family and let people go out and be a family, and be together and really see a really cool sport in a different environment. And there's no other place like WEC in the world. I mean, literally, there's nothing like WEC in the world, and it's right here in our backyard. With that being said, what's the economic impact with WEC coming to the city? So the initial phase study, we just updated our economic impact study. We're waiting for the results right now. From the initial phases, the projection was about $550 million a year into the economy through direct and indirect impact. The construction alone was about 800 plus million in economic impact. So all the construction workers, all the, lodging for construction workers, just the various economic drivers that go into that, the number of tech stores, and, you really want to make them big, you follow it all the way through, right? So, we pay a construction company who pays their worker who, goes out to Wendy's on the way home, so the domino effect of that economic impact of employing that many people is pretty massive. It's the proverbial rock in the pond, right? The ripples go really far. So, that's without kind of a new phase. We're working on the event center right now. We just opened our second hotel. We've got a full bunch of retail coming out there as well, which we will continue to hopefully drag people out there and get them to check it out. We launched sports at WEC recently, so we turned Expo 2, our big expo halls, we have turf down, some turf panels. So it's open for whether it's school, football, club. We can do lacrosse, soccer, football, flag football, all indoors right now. So that's set up all summer. Just you get to know anybody wants to come out and do some training, let us know. So we just try to get into some other things. We're looking at some other potential sports developments here in the next couple of years to try to meet that need. We look at the gap analysis the county's done and try to understand where the opportunities are from a tourist development standpoint, but also just the lead factor of being in Marion County. I know as a travel and basketball dad right now, I got to go to Tabari's, I got to go to Gainesville, I got to go to Orlando, and there's nothing here where we can host tournaments. So that may or may not be in the plans here in the next couple of years to have something like that for us. Even towards the thought of the lineage with the turf and there, just that thought alone. So I'm living at them because this is all Kevin Norris thing said, and I think but bringing it to our question that everyone listens to what they feel like, and what is that? What made that for us? You guys are showing, putting this thing place in the point to show that how this is, and even to follow up on that sort of branding of it. So do you guys? Because that makes me think about Chick-fil-A. Yeah, you come to Chick-fil-A. Burgers, you go burger. I'm coming in for burgers. So I wonder, are you guys like consciously saying you want to make a space where everyone is weird and like everyone can build something here, or is it just that's just rolling out there? Yeah, I think it's just evolving that way. It's just we're looking at opportunities, and carry it through to we've got extra hotels, and there's seasons where we don't have horse shows. How do we keep those hotels busy when we don't have horse shows? In sports has got to be a big driver in Florida. And for wing nights and hotels, and so try to explore that a little bit, and then there's the other piece of it from a community side where we're just like, hey, I got kids, your kids. We look at it and go, hey, can we do something that we can at least sustain and make money at, as a business, but also provide something that we don't have in Marion County to improve the livability of it, and fortunately the Roberts see that as a little bit of opportunity and responsibility, and they certainly have the means to try to take those risks. And on our side, we try to make sure it's not a risk that it works and makes money. There's a so hearing all the trying to wrap my head around all of it. So the vision that's set up is you just spoke on the graph. So of course they have the vision for it, which is the best for you, but then you listen to your opinions of how you move from place to place. However, you knew where you wanted to go apply, right? And this is why you went from this to Hawaii and all these things. So there was still a vision, but there were different things that was in place that didn't change your vision, but changed the path and how you got to the facility or like that. So then now we're talking about that. I'm going back to the Serena because again, Jamie asked the question, what's this part of the plan? But it's a basketball court, that part of the plan. It's not part of the plan. It's still the vision that, again, regardless the issue set out for that. And now these things are just happening, which are not bumps of the road, but things that are going to help enhance the vision. We were just thinking with the kids yesterday at our unit building, and we were talking about having a vision. When you have a vision, there are things that take place in your life. There are going to be things that take place at the way that were initially not a part of the plan, but still help you get to the BS. So again, time the facility and time, you to where you are in your career and your family, pretty sure these things, the things that happen, the places that you move, isn't initially part plan, but some place that you want to be in 100%. So again, it's like the board game shoots at ladders, right? That you played as a kid, right? You have a starting point. We're all at a starting point, and you have an ending point where you want to go. And you got to know where that is. And sometimes you get to take the shortcuts. Sometimes you got to get bumped back. You have a setback, but at the end of the goal is you got to get to where you want to go. And if you don't know where that is, to your point, it makes it hard to play a game. And so I think there's what you guys are doing and helping kids form that, and it's going to change, right? I mean, play college football, right? This wasn't the ideal, like it was, right? But you want to make impact. Your life's purpose was to do something big, and how we fulfill that, how we do those things, it's going to change, right? Maybe it's okay to have a goal that changes, but I think what's most important is that you have a goal that you're trying to get to, and it's gonna zigzag a little bit and might go backwards, but as long as you have that goal, you're gonna get that. And seeing our brain attached to the equestrian brain to be something. And speaking of vision, or just the apron situation, that just seeing really it was like it was one of those moments where you what I mean? Because just seeing obviously what the brain means and just seeing where you guys are going to what you already done, and just seeing already knowing I can say just so we understand where the plan. You work under the Roberts family, and I could just only imagine what it's like working for it. So I just kind of get a little insight on that. So what is it like working for me? What is like one of you to pinpoint 3 biggest takeaways got from just being on the ends? You're working over at the World Equestrian Center. Well, that's tough. They're very private people, but I think it's first of all it's faith. You walk around we have a chapel, we hand out crosses, you see messages on the boards, right? So we give thanks to God Almighty for what we have. And I think that's first and foremost for them. And for us as a leadership group, is we certainly, the people that we've attracted and the people that are part of our group, that's not a requirement, but it's important to understand that's a piece of who the family is and where they place importance in their life. So I think that's number one, space first, family second, and then business comes after that. So, certainly their family business, and there's family members that are in and around the business and they're involved in different areas of different companies. So certainly that family piece and maintaining that is a big one. And that it's, to your best point, I've been busy and looking for opportunities. I think, some of the great stories that I've heard about, Mr. Roberts and how he built the trucking company, R&L Carriers, was, the guy who was always forward thinking, and he was always looking at opportunities and looking at taking risks when it came to adapting new technology or maybe buying routes or trucking lines that wasn't in their original plan, to your point, but was about a great business opportunity and it was with their strategic plan. So I think that's the other thing, is looking at the opportunities that exist out there and can we do it better? Can we do it faster? Can we do it prettier? So I think those would be quite 3 takeaways about priorities and that looking for opportunities when they present themselves and not being afraid to go to your gut and go after it. How the decisions didn't go. Because like I said, you got the 800 employees. So when it comes down in so many different departments, so many, like I said, systemic culinary and such. You got so many different moving pieces. So how do decisions be made? When it's time to make a decision, it's like you guys sitting at a marquee table over there. But how do you guys have this decision? Like, is it one final, like, say so, or how do you guys go about? I think it ain't every employees, right? So everybody's got to make decisions on a daily basis. Small decisions, big decisions. So I think understanding the culture piece is number one, and making sure that as a leader, I help set, our team knows what our goals are and where we want to be and what's important, right? My team knows, hopefully at every level, that we're going to do what's right. If it costs us a little bit of money, we're going to do what's right. First and foremost. So we're going to do what's right for the customer and what's right for us. But we're just going to do the right thing. And I think as a leader, we make sure that we set that so that when decisions have to get made, they know how we're going to represent ownership. They know how we're going to represent our leadership group. So when they have to make decisions, that they know where they stand and they're empowered to make decisions. Our, on the team at the front desk at a hotel is empowered to take care of our customers and protect the long-term relationship that we build with our customers. So it's a long game for us in business. So I think that's one. I mean, tactically every day, it's depends on what different facet of the operation we're talking about from decision making. Our core show folks and director of equine is kind of handles his thing, and I worry about the hospitality side, and so we collaborate on decision making. And then when it comes to the big stuff, the big vision, we rely on the family to come back and we present our information and try to give them what they need to make a good decision. And then we say how high and how fast. Yeah, I like that. When you guys are having your employee orientations, what's the first thing that you guys are telling these folks when they're coming aboard? What is that thing that you're planning in them off jump? It is what? Yeah. So I try to be the first person at every orientation class, and I talk about the quality class decision, and it's written everywhere. But sometimes when you just have words written out there, they don't necessarily have meaning. And so my goal is to really tie that back to them and what they do every day. So for us, it's quality. Who's in charge of quality, right? For us, it's the person that's touching the customer. It's the person that's touching that food. It's you guys work for us. It's you guys. You own quality, right? And then we talk about the class, and that's where that decision making comes in. And we want to be the first class. We want to be morally, ethically, business wise, but also just from an experience. We want people to walk away and go, "Wow, that was the best dining experience I ever had. That was the most pretty hotel room I ever stayed in. That was the best church service I ever went to. That's the best soccer match I ever attended, or soccer camp." So we wanted to make sure that they know that's what we want to be, right? And we want to be in that class. And then the differentiation I try to tie back for us is what makes WEC special and unique for a horse competitor that's coming in that shows all over the world.
What goes out to leadership, especially knowing your position. What helps you stay pretty grounded when it comes to that? Because with the young men that we mentor, a lot of times if you ask or you propose a leadership position, every hand raised. But I always tell them, you have to be careful because, once the novelty of that position wears off, but the responsibility remains, a lot of people want to flee from that position. So what helps you stay sturdy in your leadership position when, you feel that wear and tear, the pressures? That's a great question.
I get personal satisfaction out of leading the teams. Like I love to see team accomplishment. I love to see us win, right? So I think that's really what drives me. I also love to see people grow and develop. I see myself as a mentor to a lot of our team and different levels. So for me, saying that example of spending time with others and different times in my career, I was not good. I mean, when I was in Greenville as a manager, I got called out by the employees. Like every time I try to talk to you, you're on your way to somewhere else. You don't even stop to listen. You just keep walking. And I'm like, well, I'm busy.
And, but he called me on it. My point earlier about, sometimes you go through stuff where somebody's got to call you on, and said, yeah, I do that. And I would be awful if I was on the other end of that. So I think having that empathy is pretty important. But, I always want to see the team succeed, and I want to be able to give whatever they need to get there. And it is, it was with the saying, heavy's the head, where's the crown, right? So, but for me, the satisfaction is always outweighed the challenges or the difficulties, and I take it really personal when we don't win. But I also look at it, a leader at one point that said, this was the old Maya Angelou quote of, people may forget how you, what you said, or the number forget how you made it feel, right? And so I also look at all of our employees. Everybody goes through stuff, right? You got to remember that just because they're punching your clock doesn't mean they're not a person outside of work. They got a sick kid. They have a relative that's passed. They've got trouble making rent. They've got shit. Everybody goes through stuff outside. They exist 24 hours a day. So I try to be compassionate in our leadership, and try to be understanding and set boundaries and set, expectations. But I try to be sympathetic and at the same time, and understand that our people go through stuff. So I try to be appreciative so they made it. Some days, right? Sometimes you just got to be thankful, truly thankful people showed up. Going through what you went through to get here, come in and serve our customers or serve us. Sometimes you just got to remind yourself of that. That it's, some people go through a lot, Miss Shane, go through a lot to get there, and you as a leader have to be appreciative of it and be thankful. And that's why I said, when it comes to sports and teams, we gotta look out for each other, look out for a teammate. And it doesn't really matter if you're up here and you're a starter or whether you're the backup. So, it was a long answer to your question. No, we're at the real time. It's about our people, right? And making sure they have what they need. They're going to take care of my customer, and then that customer is just going to take care of my bottom line, right? It's team to profit, that comes there. And now in underwater, like, give work to somebody or having a thing that's so prestigious as the robbers working. I can only imagine, because even at the bottom line, they always thinking about, these people are to reap. Everybody. So you got people at work, and so when it does get tough, it's going to work. Somebody will it's like, maybe just getting rich, and he gets richer. Those conversations, and I'm pretty sure those conversations are going on. But even in the midst of that, man, we're in that space of culture that's being created. Like, people we touch, like every person that came and spoke, they gave that gratitude, and they gave back and said, I'm thankful for. And you could tell that that's the culture. And that comes from the top. But and I'll tell you, they have means. They have some fun to this, but you would stand next to them in the store, and you would know. They're a humble people, right? And again, in their story, and I can share a little bit, where they come from and what they built in a generation, and now you've got a second and third generation pack building on that. It's incredibly rewarding as someone to work for, and be appreciative of what they built and how far they worked. And they really came up blue collar and really worked their way to what they has. And to see them do that, it's nothing but admiration and work over something. Mrs. Roberts is in her mid-70s, and she works harder than anyone at that place. And she's building houses, she's building WECs, she's working on other businesses and other real estate. So when you get around something like that, I tell people the first day of orientation, listen, when the owner drives around and she sees trash and she picks up trash, guess what? We're all picking up trash, but again, to your point, that gratitude and that thing will just, they do a ton of philanthropic work in our community and give a ton back, but it's not for the press, and it's not for that stuff. It's all in the great numbers, and it's all because it's the right thing to do. They feel blessed, and they give back because they feel a duty and responsibility to take care of people, and because they love to. And for me as an employee, it's easy to show up every day and want to deliver for somebody like that. And I look at my team, hopefully I'm doing not that exact thing, but similar things for my team and make them feel like, hey, this is somebody else work for us. So from a leadership standpoint, it's either it out, bold and push, right? And so, or maybe think back to the podcast we did where I said, he started talking about browsing that we used to in the industry. He was like, I'm not the full industry, I'm in I'm the industry. When you think of something from that lens, and you've been in this space for years. So being in this space, and you think about how, I'm pretty sure you've been able to create that or see what works and what doesn't work. So you're an expert to some sort in this field. So if it's a young person watching and they say they want to enter the hospitality industry or they want to get to where you're at now, what is some advice that you would give back to a young person to be able to say, these are some things that should be done like now?
Well, I mean, that's why I love the hospitality business, because I know so many, general managers that are making six figures that never went to college. They just worked. They learned the business and learned how to make good decisions. But it's always people, right? It's serving people, leading people. It's all people. So respect is number one. And I think if you approach things like, hey, I don't know everything. I try to approach everything like I don't know the final answer, and I might learn something today. So I think having that inquisitive, being curious about why and what, and listening and truly being open to learning, and not just hospitality, but everything in life. I think if you're open to, like you guys with the exposure, right? The trips, you're open to new things. Well, you're coming with new things, and you take away the things, and you grow as a person. So I think, if you're a young person starting out and want to go into hospitality, it's all about people. So you got to be inquisitive about people. You want to try to know what drives people, what makes people happy, what makes people what are the things, because Rashad's a great example, right? So when he looks at the venues, he tries to, he and I've had this conversation. He tries to make sure the menu, either they get it out in time, right? So you just got his mac and cheese with the brisket on top, and some of the things are quicker to execute. So if you need to make the line go a little quicker, because it's the full experience, is in hospitality. If I have to stand there and wait, guess what? My perception of the food, right? Because I'm standing there waiting, and my perception of the whole experience goes down. So he's a great one at looking at his customers and really making sure that from the moment they walk up to the window, they have a great experience. And we look at it the same way. So I think if you're starting out in the business, it's all about people. So you got to want to know more. You got to be curious, inquisitive. You got to work hard. So at the end of the day, you're not going to get ahead by not showing up, and not just physically not come to work, but like mentally being ready to work, be willing to put in the work. That's there's no lie. That's half the job. Is being mentally present, being willing to come in and work hard. You don't overcomplicate it. We're in the service business, we're in the people business. Whether we're showing, whether it's coming to soccer camp, whether they're coming to eat one of the restaurants, and what do people want? It's pretty universal of what people expect, and they want to be respected. They want to feel like they have control of what their experience is, and making sure that they have a decision that they could kind of choose your own adventure. When you come into a hospitality experience, people, it's kind of just understand people, and it's a great business. It's been amazing to my family. It's been able to achieve a lot, and be at great places and hang out with guys like you, and try to make a difference to our employees, to your guys. And so what are the future? So the future planning right there. So obviously you guys, we talked about a couple of projects that you guys are working on. So even for themselves, like what do you see, like, and say that I guess I had you on, I was trying to pick his brain a little bit. Where does this go? What is the next steps for Dust? Every day of life brings a new challenge. Let's still have it. So that's a big one for us. Is that's what keeps me going every day. I don't know what I'm going to walk into and what I'm going to see or what new project we're going to take on. So that's I like the creating. I like looking at what we've built, both with a team and experience, but also the physical structures and stuff, executing those visions. So obviously Event Center is our next big one. To have 4 more restaurants. We got 8,000 square feet of meeting space in there. We'll put the largest ballroom in the city.
will basically be the convention center for Ocala. You've got an 18,000 square foot outdoor space, and then some retail that'll go with that. So we'll have a couple more stuff we got to do in there, coffee shops, another toy store, some other stuff there. So those projects are kind of first and foremost right now. We've got a couple of big, we did our Longies League of Nations event this year, which is our first big international competition, which is a big deal. Like, the non-horse people, I try to make sure everybody understands how big that event is, because this year, next to the Olympics, is the next biggest horse show in the world. And Ocala, Florida was one of the 5 stops on a global tour that included Abu Dhabi, St. Gallen, Switzerland, Rotterdam in the Netherlands, Ocala, and the finals in Barcelona in October. So we'll have that back next year, next March. So that's a big one. And then we'll do our first World Cup qualifier in February next year. So those are other big on the horse show side, big events we kind of get ready for. And then we're always getting ready for Wine Festival first weekend in November. We don't want to land for us, but for future, stuff like the culinary exposure for us is big. Part of the beneficiary of the Food and Wine Festival is the Education Foundation for Marion County, and working with Megan and that team. Really selfishly, you want to grow, get more kids into the culinary arts and culinary programs and hospitality as a career, and see that as a viable option, especially as we keep growing it and opening more stuff out there. I mean, those juniors in high school right now, man, that's my target audience. I want you guys I want those guys to be able to sit in that and get inspired by that and see the opportunities that exist in that. You look at my career, you look at a lot of our chefs on our team, and the places they've gotten to go and be. I mean, if you want to stay in Marion County and you love living here, which I do, you get into those jobs. I can find a job for you like that and that wet. But if you want to come in, let us train you for a couple of years and go out and explore the world. Move to New York, move to San Francisco, Chicago, Nashville. I mean, culinary job. If you got good skills, you can find a job in a hurry in any city. I joke all the time. It's like there's 2 jobs I know that you can find a job tomorrow. One's a cook, the other's a nurse. Like everywhere in the country, we can find a job like that and go anywhere. And those are transferable skills. So we're really passionate about trying to get more kids into those programs. We're getting our chefs out into the culinary programs within the high schools and middle school, MTC, and their programs. We're really trying to help get people excited about it. And again, give a ton of other jobs at WEC from the trade standpoint that we're going to need to help fill in the next couple of years. So those are the big things we're focused on, and trying to look at what the future is for sports at WEC. For all the non-Quen stuff, this is the next big project. We're kind of trying to figure out where that might go. And man, I love it. And just to wrap up what you're just saying, we thank you guys for the experience that you just created with us last week. Just again, it came from just sit down and dealt. We were able to put that, make sure that got put together. So thank you. And you just talked about actually the significance of what you're doing to that, and just the introduction in the head. No one was leaking by saying that wanted to be shared up that, but you yourself going to it goes exactly to just say, what? Well, again, you can drop her shot, right? What he's been able to do, within his own entrepreneurial skills to provide for himself, provide for his family, grow his business. It can take you in a lot of different directions with what you want to do, whether it's your own business or come work in, Michelin starred restaurants, wherever. It can go a lot of different ways. I love your hands. Well, wrap it up, man. Thank you for coming. Thank you for having me. For sure. So, got any last words? No. Again, it does for again. I would just say, maybe looking at indoor track meets. Oh man, but that's it. We talked about it. I know that when they put in the indoor track up in Alachua, the Alachua County Sports and Entertainment Complex over there. They got that indoor bank track that they put up for indoor track. So we'd like, maybe we don't do that. They got that all locked. There's not, I don't know if there's enough meets yet. Yeah, it's about it. Certainly basketball and volleyball. Growing up playing hockey, I wouldn't mind an ice rink, but we'll see. If I need to get my kids back into that. But it's we're lucky to be in Edmonton community. One of the things we found when we moved here was the sense of community. People were proud about. We were moving up to Ocala. It's like it's a great place to raise kids. It's a great place to raise their families. And they're like looking at, you look at the stats and you go, why? You're not just there. And then you gave it, like, wow, it really is. And it's guys like you that are involved in our community. It's people like the CED and Kata Sheely and people like the Roberts. And there's just so many great people in the community that care about where we are and care about their part in the whole puzzle. Sure. Ben Marciano, our mayor, and what he's doing for mental health and physical fitness, and trying to do those pieces of our community. I think it's amazing. Ocala is an amazing place, and want to be a great place for everybody. Yeah, but this question came last, so I got to ask a little bit out of color. But if you can go back, if you could change anything differently throughout your life, throughout your career, what? Wow, let's see what you're saying. Let's say, I don't think I would. I think even the missteps and bad things got me where I'm at, and made me the man I am, the father I am, the husband I am. So not perfect, but I'm pretty happy where I am. So if I could go back, get a lottery ticket. Yeah. That's rather than entitlement out where I'm blessed to be wearing and feel like I'm there for a reason. So last thing to wrap up. So that's your camera right there, right? If you could just look that camera in the eye, give any whatever on your heart, any words of inspiration, any words of encouragement, or whatever to the viewers that's watching. To wrap it up is all you to close out. Well, thanks for having me. First of all, guys, appreciate it. Love where you're at, work hard, good things will come. But take care of your people, whether they're customers, employees, or just good friends. Thanks. Love it. All right, man. Like, subscribe, comment. Make sure you do that right now, man. We'll see y'all next week.